Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 4th of August. Now it's 9:30 in the morning. I am Levan Gudadze, and this is my first update for the day, in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. As you can see, today I will make update outside for a change. As I promised, I will try to make at least one update outside, because many members of our community do like this format. So, and one more thing, today is Friday, so I wish you a great day and wonderful upcoming weekend. Tomorrow I will also have a day off, so I will have time to recharge, get some rest from this constant wave of news and geopolitical developments. But anyway, today this update has to be done, and there are quite a few very significant developments and news that you may find interesting. First of all, of course, I will talk about morning's drone strike on Crimea and Russian naval base in Novorossiysk, which is a port city on Azov Sea. So let me show you a little bit. It's early hours of a day, not that many people, but still you can see that some people, locals and tourists, are in this park for a walk. In comparison to yesterday, today is a cool weather. It's nice to go outside. Yesterday was too hot. It was like a tropical summer day. But anyway, let's talk about news. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, 2 naval drones did try to strike Russian ships in Azov Sea, in Novorossiysk base, and both drones were destroyed. But question is rising, how these drones even end up in Azov Sea? How they did manage, if they were launched from, let's say, Odessa or Nikolaev regions, how they did manage to pass undetected Crimean Peninsula and enter Azov Sea? I find it hard to believe that that's even possible, if we're taking in account how many Russian ships, Black Sea Fleet ships, are monitoring area. But anything is possible. Let's leave some gap that somehow these drones managed to enter Azov Sea from the south. But well, questions are rising. Maybe these drones were launched inside the Azov Sea. And if that's the case, then Russian security services do have a significant problem on their hands, because in that case we can assume that some Ukrainian terrorists and groups are operating on Russian controlled territory around the Azov Sea, and they are able to launch even naval drones. But yet again, no official statements for this moment how these drones end up in Azov Sea. So let's wait and see. Maybe Russian Defense Ministry will share us with some additional news, but questions definitely are rising. And by the way, also today we had reports that a dozen of Ukrainian drones were attacking Crimea, different areas of Crimea during early hours of the morning. And according to Russian Defense Ministry, 10 drones were shot down by Russian air defense systems, and 3 drones were suppressed by radio electronic warfare systems. And according to officials, no casualties on the ground and no significant damage was done. But yet again, this failed attempt to strike Crimea by Zelensky's regime once again highlights this change of tactics on part of Ukrainian armed forces, when they are trying to use this swarm tactic. They are launching dozens of drones, I guess in attempt to overwhelm Russian air defense systems, and this way deal some damage to Russian infrastructure. Civilian or military, Zelensky's regime don't really care. We all know about it. But this is, of course, the main topics for this morning. Breaking news that there were failed attempts to strike Russian ships in Azov Sea, Russian naval base in Azov Sea, and this failed attempt to strike Russian infrastructure in Crimea. And by the way, of course, there are some other news, but before I continue, let me share with you a quick summary of the situation on the front line. It's not that big of a changes, really. Kherson region artillery duels between the sides and the constant fight for control over these small islands in the Dnieper River, some recon operations, nothing in the scale that will influence overall situation on this sector of the front. South Donetsk and Zaporozhye sectors of the front also operational pause. There were some reports that Ukrainian forces did try to conduct yet another local scale offensive in direction of let's go that way now, in direction of Rabotina, which is on the southern flank of Orekhov. But armored group of Ukrainian forces were detected by Russian military intelligence, and they become under heavy Russian artillery fire. Then, I guess, because this group began to disorganize or panic, they move straight into the minefield, and well, the entire group was neutralized. But yet again, this is according to some reports. I believe during the day we will probably see video and photo confirmation of this. But overall situation in Zaporozhye sector of the front line are calm in comparison to previous weeks, and same we can say about South Donetsk sector of the front line. Let me show you this river here. This is Terek River, by the way, which is crossing city of Vladikavkaz, capital of North Ossetia, Alania. Mountain river, which has its beginning in Georgia, then it goes through North Ossetia, Alania, and then to the east up to Caspian Sea. And yes, when it comes to South Donetsk sector of the front line, of course, main hot point is Vremovsky Ledge, but as I report yesterday, according to news that we are receiving, My reading of picture is that Ukrainian forces run out of steam in that area, and without another reinforcement, I don't think they will be able to continue their offensive to establish full control and dig in Staromayorsk to conduct offensives in direction of Urozhaine, which is right next to Staromayorsk from eastern side. But overall situation, as I said, it's operational pause on this land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia in Zaporozhye and South Donetsk sectors of the front line. When it comes to Donetsk direction, no huge changes in that sector. Also, the usual hotspots, Marinka, Krasnogorovka, Avdeevka, but nothing is happening in the scale that will change overall situation. It's operational pause. Same we can say about Bakhmut direction. It seems like Ukrainian forces finally lost initiative in the southern flanks of Bakhmut, and this is happening fifth or sixth time for last 2 months, if not more, when initiative have been regained by Russian forces. And well, if Zelensky's regime will not send additional reinforcements in this direction, I highly doubt that Ukrainian forces will be able to regain initiative again. So probably southern sector of the Bakhmut will become quiet for next at least few days, if not weeks. Yet again, it all depends if Zelensky's regime will send additional reinforcements in this direction from strategic reserves. When it comes to northern flank of Bakhmut, initiative is in Russian hand there for a quite long time now. Ukrainian forces were unable to achieve breakthrough in any one direction, in direction of Orekhovo, Dubovo-Vasilievka, direction of Yahidne or Birkhovka. They, despite many tries, they were unable to achieve anything really. And same goes for Solidar direction. Initiative in this sector, northern of Bakhmut, is in Russian hands, and same goes for northern sectors of the front, from Seversk and Liman up to Kupiansk. We had reports this morning that Russian forces yet again did manage to conduct local scale successful operations in Liman sector of the front, in Kupiansk sector of the front, but yet again I believe ground is very well prepared there for large scale offensive, and from Russian side, and it all depends on Moscow now and general staff when they will greenlight this large scale Russian offensive in northern sectors of the front. It may happen in next couple of weeks, but it will definitely happen before end of this summer. That's my prediction. And this is quick summary of the situation on the front line. It's operational pause basically all along the front. Ukrainian forces basically lost initiative everywhere, and let's see if Washington and London pressure Zelensky to use its last strategic reserves, which is about 8 to 10 more or less battle-ready brigades. Then we may see some activization again from Ukrainian side. But if Washington and London allow Zelensky to keep these last brigades as a strategic reserve, then probably in foreseeable future, main expectations on the front will be Russian from Russian side, and everyone probably will wait for Russian large-scale offensives to begin on many directions, from southern sectors to northern sectors. But yet again, time will tell. And let's talk about some other news. I will try to make this update short. After all, it's Friday. So, by the way, very interesting developments in connection to India's Prime Minister Modi. Yesterday, all day rumors were circulating in internet that India's leader will not participate directly in person in a BRICS summit in South Africa. But this morning I did read news that India's Prime Minister will be presented in South Africa, so he will participate in this summit in person. So, and I was trying to find additional sources to make sure that this is a final decision of Indian leadership, that India's Prime Minister will be in South Africa. But at least for now, I did not find additional sources. But initial report about it was on a big channel, so I guess it's correct, and India will be represented on BRICS summit with its leader, Prime Minister Modi. And by the way, recently there are so many rumors also, mainly generated by Western elites, so-called elites, and their so-called media, that there are some friction inside the BRICS. India is not happy that Chinese influence is increasing significantly, and India is against new members to be received in BRICS. But I guess all these rumors are speculations, because it's just logical to think that if India wants to somehow increase its own influence inside the BRICS, then new members should be welcomed by India. But anyway, I don't think we will see any significant friction inside the BRICS. There may be some tensions. After all, India and China are not really in the best terms when it comes to relationships. They have significant difficulties, especially in the border lines. But I'm quite sure leaders of these two countries are serious politicians, and they will not allow some significant but still not existential issues to destroy relationships between the countries and to generate additional issues. So everything will be okay with BRICS, and New Delhi and Beijing will find a way to peacefully coexist despite some difficulties in the relations. So I do understand Western elites want to see India distancing itself from BRICS, from this idea of multipolarity. But by the way, can India ever trust, or Indian elites ever trust Western elites? It's not that long ago when very same Western elites almost wiped out India from the political map, and only Soviet Union stand next to India. Only Soviet Union and statehood of India that we know now, exists only because of actions from Soviet Union. And by the way, I do remind you that in the early 70s of last century, entire coalition, anti-Indian coalition, was basically keen to destroy that country. Not just Pakistan. We all know that India and Pakistan do have a very difficult relationship, but this anti-Indian coalition was led by United States and United Kingdom, and they even did send a fleet to fight India. And well, to stop this madness, Soviet Union sent its nuclear submarines to stop Western fleets, their activity, and Soviet Union did give a clear signal to the West, to Washington and London, then they will be destroyed if they even try to attack India. And well, Washington and London did listen. They did realize that they were risking Third World War here, and they turn around and run away. That's what happened. And now, can India make such a mistake to trust Western elites? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's why I'm quite sure China and India will somehow manage to deal with some differences, and they will continue to work together to increase influence of BRICS and to bring this world to multipolarity as soon as possible, because that world, I guess, will be much more just than the world that we are living now, when Western elites are acting like they are like entire world is their own property, which is not. But let's see how the situation develops. And let me share some other news also. Just a sec. I have some difficulties with my phone here. And by the way, also interesting news that Russian Foreign Ministry did comment on attempts from the West to influence relationships between Georgia and Russia. As I said many times before, Washington is not happy that Tbilisi and Moscow are beginning to normalize relations, and there are some significant improvements in this regards. And Russian Foreign Ministry did make a statement that basically Western elites and the leadership of Washington are interfering in internal affairs of Georgia, which is unacceptable. And well, it's true, of course, but unfortunately, I don't think statement of Russian Foreign Ministry are gonna change much. There are some rumors in Georgia circulating, and as you know, I'm originally from Georgia, and there are some rumors there, and I have many relatives there. I do communicate and with people in Georgia, with citizens of Georgia, and there are some rumors now that in a couple of weeks' time, the so-called opposition, US-controlled so-called opposition in Georgia, may try to conduct yet another wave of destabilization of the republic, and maybe they even try to do some regime change operation with active support of US, with active support of Western elites in general, so-called elites, and also there are some rumors that to destabilize Georgia, to conduct this regime change, some mercenaries have been sent to Georgia from Ukraine. So let's hope current Georgian government will deal with these risks. We deal with these risks. Let's go back really, and that republic will stay stable and secure. Let's hope so. And some more news. Yes, Russian Defense Minister Shoigu visited Russian group of forces at Center and in a zone of special military operation, and he said that Russian side should begin conducting preemptive strikes to minimize casualties among Russian servicemen. So I guess in foreseeable future we will see significant increase in missile and drone strikes, or long-range strikes from Russian side. And well, few more economical news, and this is it. According to one of the most influential, or quite influential MPs, Russian MPs, BRICS member states, including Russia, are actively working to create alternative to US dollar as a world's reserve currency, and in a fairly short amount of time BRICS may come up with solutions in this regards, and with concrete steps, which is expectable really. Talk about BRICS currencies taking place for a long time now, and I guess it will definitely be good for a world if there will be two reserve currencies, or if there will be an alternative for the US dollar, because euros and dollars, they have been used as a weapon. Entire world did see it, and I guess majority of states are waiting now when they will have opportunity to use alternative reserve currency, because Washington and Brussels, that are formally at least controlling dollar and euro, they cannot be trusted, isn't it? Even though central bank of EU is located in Frankfurt, if I'm not mistaken, in Germany, but decision-making center of EU is Brussels. So yes, in foreseeable future, probably we will see emergence of new world reserve currency. And by the way, let me show you this area here. As you can see, some construction work is taking place, which is quite a good indicator that Vladikavkaz, this city, is growing. Its economical potential is growing, its popularity is growing. And as I said quite a few times, with good management, in 10-15 years time, Vladikavkaz may become a city, one of the major cities in Russia, maybe in top 10 even, which will be a great deal, of course. And Vladikavkaz has all opportunities, every opportunity to achieve this, especially nowadays when North Ossetia Alania is becoming one of the major tourist destinations for citizens of Russia, for internal tourists, and when trade relationships are improving between Russia and Georgia. So you have a opportunity to become a trading hub or financial hub for a region, and touristic destination, major tourist destination. So opportunities there, good management, and in 10-15 years time, North Ossetia Alania will be in a much greater place than it is now. But by the way, North Ossetia Alania is wonderful and always was. So I highly recommend, if you ever have a chance to visit this republic, do it. You will definitely like it here. And few more news also about economics. Well, yesterday, President of Russian Federation Vladimir Putin did spoke about had a meeting with let's say representatives of public, and he said that Russian officials, all level officials from top to bottom, should use Russian cars that are manufactured in Russia instead of foreign cars. And by the way, if Putin will sign law, or if Prime Minister will issue decree of somewhat, and if Russian officials and Russian state institutions will be forced to purchase Russian cars, oh, that will be quite significant step. Because for now, you should see officials in Russia, vast majority of officials are using foreign cars, and these cars are bought on our money, on taxpayers' money. And I'm all in support of idea that officials should use Russian cars. Why not? It will help Russian manufacturers, and it may even force Russian car manufacturers to produce cars that are competitive enough to compete with the foreign cars. But yet again, just a statement from Putin would not be enough, I'm afraid, to force Russian state institutions and officials to move from foreign cars to Russian cars. But if some kind of decree will be issued on this topic, oh, that will be a great deal. I would like to see these officials that think they are kind of, not all of them, but many of them. You know, I am very critical of these officials, many of the officials, because of many reasons, and it will be nice to see that they have been grounded, because some of them are thinking they are like somewhat better than us, rest of the citizens. They are acting very cringe way, and well, I'm all for changes that will ground these officials, that will, return them to the senses, because they are servants. They should serve us. They are not better than us, not better than anybody. They are officials because, at least formally, they did choose to serve society, and that's what I want to see, that those officials are serving society. And I'm quite sure they will do it better way if they are grounded and are in contact with reality. By the way, I mean, if I start talking about officials, man, I may go very far. If it was up to me, man, I will. I don't even want to go in that part, man. I'm very critical of officials. I'm not happy with their work. Many of them, not all of them, of course, but many officials should be removed, and investigations should be conducted about their work. But anyway, I guess officials are same everywhere, man. In every country, there are some good people in this bureaucracy, but I got feeling that majority are just crap. Worst representatives of nations all around the world, man. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. And by the way, one more news about cars also. Which is that Russian major car manufacturer AvtoVAZ made a statement that their profits have been soared lately, which is quite understandable, because many foreign manufacturers, especially Western ones, also car manufacturers from Japan and South Korea, mainly left Russian market, and now competition on this market is between Russian cars and the Chinese cars. And I guess both sides are quite happy, because they have a bigger margin now on the market, since this Western companies left this field. So it's quite understandable that AvtoVAZ has seen a significant decrease in its profits, which is good, by the way, which is good. Lately, in the last 10 years or so, Russian car manufacturers are beginning to produce quite okay budget cars, and who knows, maybe sometime in the future they will manage to have a proper competition on the foreign markets outside of Russia with the Western or South Korean car manufacturers. Let's see. Anyway, this is it for now. Video gonna be quite short, which is good. I hope you will find this update interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like. If you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you're active on. And if you think this channel is interesting and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in the description box. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.